Ciao Fabri, welcome back in
Oh,
today's
guys.
episode. As always, we are also on video, so you can follow us on the YouTube channel as well, and of course, in all the platforms as usual. It was a big Champions League and Europa League week, of course, and we start with some of the topics reacting to the Champions League action and the Europa League action as well with Real Madrid situation.
Yeah, it's obviously quite tense at Real Madrid now. It was a poor performance from Real Madrid, also the Bernabeu after losing the game at Emirates Stadium. Same happened at the Bernabeu. So quite tense situation around Real Madrid. We should remind to our friends of Men in Blazers, they can find a specific episode on Real Madrid a few days ago. We released that. But today, to mention something after the game, I want to say that the situation around Carlo Ancelotti looks really, really complicated. So there are possibilities, as we already said before the game, to part ways at the end of the season. It's a concrete possibility. At the moment, there is still no final decision, no formal communication. So obviously, Real Madrid are fully focused on La Liga, on the Copa del Rey final in few days we will understand many things on the season of Real Madrid after the poor performance in Champions League against Arsenal. What I wanted to add once again is that there is a strong, concrete possibility to part ways at the end of the season. So I think Ancelotti's future is more open than ever. It was already like this before the game. Imagine after losing at home against Arsenal.
There were also rumors on Real Madrid after the quarterfinals, so let's go into the specific of those rumors.
Yeah, and it's about Carlo Ancelotti. I saw some stories and many of our friends here, many Blazers, asking about what happened to these rumors and Carlo Ancelotti maybe stepping down, maybe decide on his side to say goodbye to Real Madrid and maybe try something new. We know about this possibility with Brazil, and the interest from Brazil is really concrete, is really strong. So the Brazilian Federation would really love to have Carlo Ancelotti as soon as possible. But on the other side, they have other options in case they can't wait for Carlo Ancelotti forever. One of these options remains Jorge Jesus, the coach of Al Hilal. But on these stories from the press about Carlo Ancelotti potential decision to step down and maybe try a new chapter immediately, this is not something I got confirmed. So Carlo Ancelotti at the moment doesn't have an intention to leave Real Madrid during the season, doesn't have an intention to plan for his future now. I mean, today or next week when there is the Copa del Rey final. So full focus on the pitch, full focus on doing his best for Real Madrid till the end of the season at least, and as long as possible, because Carlo Ancelotti would love to continue this project at Real Madrid. But then Carlo Ancelotti is not going to be the one who will come out and announce that he's going to leave Real Madrid. The decision must be on club side.
So we spoke about the specific rumors about Ancelotti possibly stepping down from his job at Real Madrid. There is also the other side of the story, no? Because there is also Arsenal and the incredible two-leg quarterfinals they have. Of course, they will face Paris Saint-Germain in the semifinals. So what's the feeling at Arsenal right now?
It's excitement, of course. So congratulations to Arsenal. What they did, I think, is something really special. Arsenal really did something special because we should remind of all the injured players they have. To mention them, it takes some time, but it's from Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, Gabriel Magalhaes, Calafiori, Jorginho, Tomiyasu, and many others. So they had many injuries. Let's not forget also what happened to Bukayo Saka for months. So I think Mikel Arteta and this coaching staff together have been really special. Not blaming anyone, not creating any problem, not signing any free agent, not crying, not complaining, just focus on finding solutions. This was the message internally, and they've been able to do it because with Mikel Merino as number 9, they've been able to beat the kings of Europe, Real Madrid, at home and away. So what they did is really, really something special. And now Mikel Arteta will be back on the market because, of course, now there is the semi-final with Paris Saint-Germain. The full focus is on Champions League, obviously, more than Premier League with Liverpool set to win the title. And so I think these quarterfinals, fantastic job by Mikel Arteta and the staff, will also be important to keep going in this direction. The coach will be more than important at Arsenal. Obviously, there is new director Andrea Berta working on targets, on the strategy, but together with Mikel Arteta. So Arteta will have a big influence on the market, and honestly, I think he deserves it.
Talking about the summer business for Arsenal, one of the names we already mentioned here in the podcast as well, it's Zubimendi. So can he be the target number one for Arsenal in the summer?
Yeah, Zubimendi remains the main target for Arsenal. Absolutely. So Arsenal want to do something in the midfield also because my expectation is for Jorginho to go, for Jorginho to try something different. We have to see also what happens with Thomas Partey, but I think there is also a chance for Thomas to go and leave Arsenal at the end of the season. So there are several possibilities in terms of midfielders, and Zubimendi is the top target since January. The contacts are ongoing. The contacts are going quite well. So Arsenal are working hard on this deal. They want Zubimendi. They consider Zubimendi the perfect player for the project they have in terms of present, but also future. They are convinced that Zubimendi in the Premier League can really make the difference. And so with Mikel Arteta, with Andrea Berta and all the people at the club, they are working on the Zubimendi deal.
There is a team that got eliminated, which is Aston Villa against Paris Saint-Germain, of course. But there is also a good feeling, no, about the club direction that is going. So, talking about loan signings, what's the feeling about Rashford? Because he was the loan from Man United in January.
Yeah, first of all, very good feeling, as you said, for Aston Villa. I imagine that 3 years ago they were 14th in the Premier League table, and now they were competing till the final seconds to be in a Champions League semi-final. So I think what Unai Emery, of course, all the players, and also the director Monchi, all his staff have been doing in these recent months has been more than special. So congratulations to Villa for how they fight in every single game, not giving up despite a difficult start against Paris Saint-Germain, and also for how they wanted Marcus Rashford. Rashford was wanted by several clubs in January, in Italy, in Spain, in England, but then he decided to go to Aston Villa. And in this case, it's really important to explain again how important is Unai Emery. Now the feeling between them is very good. Rashford is very happy at Aston Villa. So let's see what happens in terms of Champions League football for next season, because that's going to be a really important point. Rashford always loves to play Champions League football, as all the players. So that could be a factor. For Aston Villa, it's important to see what happens also financially in terms of reaching the Champions League or not in the next weeks. So that's going to be a point. But for sure, the feeling between Unai and Marcus Rashford is excellent, and this could be a very important factor in the story.
Paris Saint-Germain right now, because they're in the semifinals again, of course, so they're the top four. What do you expect for them in the summer 2025? Because, of course, they might be busy as well.
Yeah, also in this case, I think we should really explain to people how Paris Saint-Germain's situation was not easy. I still remember the reports. I think it was around end of October, November, when the Champions League campaign for Paris Saint-Germain was not the best one at all. They were in a difficult situation, and there were many reports of destroyed dressing room, a very complicated situation internally. Paris Saint-Germain with Luis Enrique, with all the people at the club, including the director Luis Campos, have been able to build this team mentality, these players. Let's not forget that Paris Saint-Germain completely changed the strategy under Campos as director and under Luis Enrique as the coach, leaving all the big names and trusting young players, many French players, to create this identity. And what they've been doing is really special. And now Paris Saint-Germain will continue on this way. So the indication I got is that Paris Saint-Germain also in the summer transfer window want to do something similar, sign players not just for their name or for their price, but because they believe these players can really help, like William Pacho did, a very surprising signing last summer, and then with great performances, and then all the others. We should mention obviously the recent ones like Kvaratskhelia, but also João Neves, who is a player who's making a difference. So they will go in that direction. I'm hearing that they want a centre-back. So a centre-back is a position they could strengthen in the summer. They are already considering some options, but PSG, as usual, will be busy.
Another club that is doing great is, of course, FC Barcelona, that will face Inter in the semifinals of the Champions League. They started a new chapter with Hansi Flick, and he's doing great. So what do you expect for his future? Can he sign a new deal at the club?
Yeah, it's a possibility. Flick was very relaxed about this topic. So Flick was not in a rush at all to sign a new deal. He explained that very well in a press conference recently. But at the same time, the conversations between the agents of Hansi Flick and Barcelona are ongoing. Is a very good connection, a very good relationship between Barca and the agents, very good connections also with Hansi directly, of course, because he's very happy at Barcelona. So my expectation is for Hansi Flick to advance in these discussions with Barcelona to sign a new deal. Absolutely. They're very happy together, and so no worries for Barcelona fans.
What about the future of Neymar, a former Barcelona and PSG player? And there are also many rumors always about Neymar, MLS, Barcelona. So what's up about him?
Yeah, first of all, we wish all the best to Ney, of course, because he suffered a new injury in the recent days. So was just returning after an injury suffered in February, missing also the games with Brazil. So it's not an easy moment for Neymar. About Barcelona, we heard many stories at some point, like in February. But what I can tell you is that the desire on player side is obviously to play a game for Barcelona one day. Neymar would love that. Neymar would do that immediately. So on Neymar's side, he would be more than happy of rejoining Barcelona in the summer or in any moment. But on Barcelona side, I'm not aware of any direct contact, direct negotiation with Neymar. The full focus of Barca is on completely different topics, like they want a new right back, they want to extend contracts, and they will speak with Rafinha. Lamine Yamal will sign in the summer. So Barca are busy with different things. Then in the summer, we will see Neymar will be very happy, but at the moment, there is nothing concrete.
Let's talk about the future of another player who lost the quarterfinals against FC Barcelona. I'm talking about Jamie Gittens. Can he play again with Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League if they qualify to the Champions League or not? He might leave in the summer.
I think there is a concrete chance for Jamie Gittens to leave Borussia Dortmund in the summer transfer window. From what I'm hearing, already in January, several Premier League clubs were prepared to attack and try to get the player. So there was strong interest from Premier League, and this will be the case in the summer because he's a player super appreciated by Chelsea. So for sure he's on Chelsea list. He's a player that Liverpool have been monitoring with their scouts for a long time. I think there could be also more clubs to join the race for Gittens, but for sure these two clubs are interested. So I think it's going to be a busy summer for Gittens and very difficult for Borussia Dortmund to keep a talent like him.
Talking about another semi-finalist, Inter, of course, the last one you need to talk about. They will also play the Club World Cup in the summer, as long as other clubs, of course, that we already mentioned. Are they preparing already some business between now and the Club World Cup as well, which will start in June?
Yeah, absolutely. Inter are working on signings for the Club World Cup. They want to do something. The first one is already done. It's Petar Sucic, who is joining from Dinamo Zagreb. Was a deal completed in February, and now everything is absolutely okay. So new midfielder is coming for Simone Inzaghi, and then they want a new winger, wing back, depending on the position where he will play. But Luis Enrique is the player. Luis Enrique from Olympique Marseille. Inter have started some conversation for something around 20, 24 million euros. Olympique Marseille start from 30, 35 million euros valuation for the player. So there is still a big gap between the two clubs in terms of valuation, but there is strong interest from Inter. Inter are pushing. Inter had good feelings on player side when they started discussing personal terms. They feel the player is willing to join Inter and try this new chapter in his career. There is also interest from Bayern, but Bayern at the moment have the player on their list, but they've not started any concrete negotiation yet. So Inter are in a more advanced position. But again, it depends on the agreement with Marseille. And so let's see how this conversation will continue.
Final one on Bayern Munich that you already mentioned, and also on Harry Kane, which probably was one of the biggest disappointment of the current Champions League campaign. So what's the feeling about Harry Kane as well?
Yeah, it was a disappointing one for Bayern. Obviously, when you have the final at home, you always try to and expect to get the final and to play in front of your fans. Not disappointing for Harry Kane because he still scored an incredible amount of goals. So I think he's still underrated how many goals this guy scores every single season. But yes, it's important to clarify that Harry Kane stays. We had some stories about Premier League clubs, a potential return to Premier League in the summer, this famous buyback clause for Tottenham. But at the moment, what I'm hearing, and not just at the moment, I think this is going to be the case for the whole summer. Harry Kane is going nowhere. Harry Kane is very happy at Bayern. Harry Kane will at least play one more season for Bayern. So that's the project, that's the idea. On both player side, but also club side. Bayern are also very happy with Kane. They consider him their leader also for next season. And so I don't expect any Premier League return, at least in 2025. Then we will see in summer 2026 or 7.
Okay, Fabri, so that was
My phone
our...
is ringing, so it's time to
Okay,
go.
so we leave you go and talk to you soon. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Ciao, ciao, ciao.